Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years.
I have no doubt his liberality will be well represented by his surviving partner. At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable to make some slight provision for the poor and destitute. They suffer greatly at the present time.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons, yes.
Are there no workhouses?
There are, still.
Yeah. Thought something had happened to them. I'm glad to hear it.
Under the impression that they scarcely offer Christian cheer of mind or body, a few of us are endeavouring to raise a fund. We choose this time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall we put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. I don't myself make merry at Christmas and can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, the poor must go there.
Many would rather die.
Well, if they'd rather die, they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Besides, it's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
Christmas is a time for telling stories. Take a story of A Christmas Carol. Most of us have heard the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, a greedy moneylender who's haunted by 3 Christmas ghosts for his wicked ways. But is that all the story's about? Scrooge says the poor are not his business, that he takes care of his own affairs and that should be enough. He doesn't care for his fellow men, not because he hates them, but because his own apathy and loneliness darken all beyond the walls of his counting house. When we tell the story of Christmas, we often talk about bringing light to darkness. Jesus is the light of the world and shines into places so dark we can no longer see. There are verses in Isaiah that we often hear at Christmas time. People walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. But in this promise of God's Messiah, there's a part we often overlook. You have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. The promise of the Messiah is not just a promise of personal salvation and realization, it's a promise of justice and mercy. No longer will soldiers need to wear the garb of war, and all those oppressed will be free. But here we are, 2,000 years later, and very little seems to have changed. Wars still rage all over the world, people are degraded and oppressed. Loneliness still leaves people in darkness. And one is left to wonder, where is the justice promised by God? Where will it start? When will justice come?
Spirit, forgive me if I'm not justified in asking, but I see something protruding from your robe. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw for the flesh that is upon it. Look here.
From the folding of its robes, the ghost of Christmas present brought 2 children, wretched, abject, frightful, hideous, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. Where graceful youth should have filled their features, a stale and shriveled hand like that of age had pinched and twisted them.
Are they yours?
They are man's. They cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This boy is ignorance. This girl is want. Beware them both, and all of their degree. But most of all, beware this boy. For on his brow I see that written which is doom. unless the writing be erased.
Deny it! Slander those which tell it ye! Admit it for your factious purposes and make it worse! And abide the end.
Have they no refuge? No resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Where does justice start? It starts with us. When will it come? When we open our eyes and see. When our apathy and ignorance is broken, God's justice can work through us. That is the call of Christ in our lives. As he shines his light on us, he shines too on those around us. He helps us see that all are made in the image of God, that Christ came for them just as he came for us, and that charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence are all our business. Christ takes us by the hand and leads us beyond our walls. Through our obedient action, yokes are lifted, rods are broken, and our world is transformed. Where does change start? It starts with us.